Clerk, please call the roll.
August, Bowig, Barca, Berceau, Bernard Shaver, Bernier, Bewley, Buys, Brooks, Clark, Coggs, Cullen, Danow, Ensley, Farrow, Fields, Grigsby, Hebel, Hintz, Honadell, Halsey, Jock, Jorgensen, Kappenga, Kaufert, Kirkman, Kessler, Castell, Clayfish, Clanky, Nyland, Knodel, Knutson, Koinga, Kramer, Krug, Krusik, Kuklich, Larson, Lemieux, Litschen, Loudenbeck, Markline, Mason, Meyer, Milroy, Malepsky, Mersaw, Murtha, Nas, Narrison, Nygren, At A, At J, Parisi, Hash, Peterson, Petrowski, Petrick, Pocan, Pope Roberts, Pridemore, Radcliffe, Richards, Ringhan, Rip, Rivard, Royce, Seidel, Severson, Schilling, Siddiqui, Spanbauer, Suskunis, Steinbrink, Steinecke, Stone, Dakota, Suter, Tauken, Fiesfeld, Tiffany, Tolles, Tranel, Turner, Van Roy, Voss, Bruwink, Weiniger, Williams, Wynn, Young, Zamarripa, Zepnik, Ziegelbauer, Krusek,
A quorum is present. Gentlelady from the 41st. Gentlelady from the 41st asks that the temporary leave for the gentleman from the 49th be lifted. Any objection? Hearing none, the leave is lifted. Question before the body is, shall Amendment 1 be adopted? All in favor will say aye. Aye. All opposed will say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. The question is, shall January 2011 Special Session Assembly Bill 11 be ordered engrossed and read a third time?
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Question before the body is Assembly Amendment 2 to Assembly Bill 11. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. The bill is adopted. Question before the body is, shall January 2011 Special Assembly Bill be ordered engrossed and read a third time? All in favor will signify by saying aye. All opposed will say no. The ayes have it. The bill is engrossed. Gentleman from the 69th.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent for the rules to be suspended on January 2011. Senate Bill 11 be given a third reading.
Gentleman from the 64's microphone is on.
What you have just witnessed here, once again, is unprecedented. And we'll have a number of members speak to that. Now, I know many of you are new, and many of you are not aware of the traditions of this body, that your leaders are so willing to trample on. But it's no surprise. Obviously, in 6 days, you want to trample on the very values of this state. And I cannot tell you how vigorously we object to that. But it is unbelievable to me, absolutely unbelievable, that you would, first of all, be here before 5 o'clock and take an illegal vote before even the time the proceedings are supposed to start. Unbelievable. Unprecedented. Un-American. Not in keeping with the values of this state. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Each and every one of you. And especially for you, Mr. Speaker, who should know the rules of this body. This is outrageous. It is an absolute outrage. This will not stand. Now, there are other amendments before us as well. But obviously, this was an improper vote to take. This is just the most outrageous thing I have ever seen. In all of my days, weeks, months that I've served in this legislative body. Absolutely beyond the pale. Now, I know you are just so eager to trample on people's and workers' rights. You just can't wait, can you? Now, a lot of you, I know there's 25 of you didn't, but a lot of you served last session. Look me in the eye and tell me we ever did this to you. Didn't happen. For those of you that served 20 years, look me in the eye and say it happened. Never happened. This is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. We are in the middle of a caucus. We have the Legislative Reference Bureau's Deputy Director waiting to help us to clarify some questions from the Fiscal Bureau that we had last night. We have some amendments in. We have plenty more being drafted. As I told the Speaker, we need more time. We simply need more time. Now, I know that's hard to imagine that, we would actually want more time for you to strike 50 years of employee rights in this state, but we need a little more time. And certainly we need a little courtesy. But boy, it got ugly early, didn't it? I mean, it got ugly at 10 in the morning when it was unprecedented for us to be able to recognize people that drive 300 miles to observe the proceedings. Where's the rest of the people in the gallery? Unprecedented, right? You probably aren't letting them in. You don't want people to know what's going on in this body because there's a stench in this body. It is a stain on the history of this state what you have done. It is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. I would like to ask unanimous consent to strike the last vote. Then I'd like to make a motion to strike the last vote.
The Assembly's back in session. Gentlelady from the 41st.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to lift the leave of the gentleman from the 25th.
Any objection? Hearing none, the leave is lifted. Chair has a question of the gentleman from the 64th. What vote do you want stricken?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was told by the Chief Clerk that you took a voice vote on Amendment 1. I would like to make an inquiry of the Chair. What time was that? What time did this body take that action?
Gentleman from the 64th has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, it's actually, Mr. Speaker and members, it is even more outrageous. I mean, I didn't think it could possibly be any more outrageous. But in fact, Amendment 2 and 3, which were before the body, were never addressed. Now, I don't think there's a legislative body in the country, maybe not in the world, that actually ignores amendments that are before you. You do not have a right. You know, you might think that because you've been elected to the legislature, you can do whatever you damn well please. But you can't. We have rules. And whether you like it or not, you got to follow the rules. Amendment 2, Amendment 3, you got to take up those amendments. You got to vote them down. You can't just say we're not going to take them up. What is wrong with you? Honest to God, this is worse than a kangaroo court. This is absolutely beyond the pale. Beyond the pale. You ignore amendments that are before you? Now, I renew my request, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask unanimous consent that the previous action on this bill be stricken from the record. Mr. Speaker.
An objection is heard. Gentleman from the 64th.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the previous action on this bill be stricken from the record. And let me speak to that for a minute. Now, if any of you have a shred of decency in you, a shred of decency, you will not allow these people up here to allow you to ignore these rules. You know, you took an oath of office. I don't know if you take it seriously or if you just think that now that we have a governor that wants to be a government of one, you can do whatever you like. Well, you can't. You absolutely can't. We have 2 other amendments before us that you did not take up. Did not take up. Never, ever in the history of this body has that happened. I doubt it's ever happened in any body. Honest to God, what is wrong with you? Are you really that eager to shut down this process? To strip people of their basic worker rights? That you're willing to do anything? I'm sure there's others that will have plenty to say about this.